Well, I mentioned that they were here. We've dragged them away from the girls outside. They've been drinking my tea, that's why I didn't come. Blake are here, Ollie, Stephen, Jules and Barney. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much for coming in and causing chaos. Is it like this everywhere you go? Are the girls just swooning all the time?
Well, we normally have to put barriers around us.
Around you?
Yeah, around me, generally, because they don't want them getting anywhere near me. But no, we're very, very happy to say that we have a loyal following all over the UK.
And are they following you, like, quite literally?
Well, they're following us in real life, but they're also now following us on Twitter as well. Come on, that's...
Oh, were you twittering?
That was such a great link.
That is a great link.
How's the twittering going? Because we started twittering on this show, and then we Facebook, which of course is how you met, or we got together, whatever. We'll talk about that in a minute. But we started twittering, but it's a bit difficult to do. So you kind of have to keep doing it.
We do it from our phones. All four of us Twitter at different times. Four tweetings. Tweets.
So what's the last thing you twittered?
Just drank some DJ's tea.
Forward to reading that.
Bob Brolly and the Transport Museum.
So you twittered that? You twittered about being with Bob Brolly in the Transport Museum?
He's a local celebrity.
He certainly is.
Yeah.
And who do people? Who's reading the Twitters and how do they get them? That's what I'm finding difficult. Because if everyone's twittering all the time, have you not got to be reading them all the time? You'd never get anything done.
It's pretty constant.
The thing is that, for instance, at the moment we're touring all over, and we have a lot of downtime, which involves sitting in the BLAKE-mobile, going from town to town, and that's when we tend to tweet about what we're thinking about, our philosophy on life, and so on and so forth. Fascinating.
What's the BLAKE-mobile like?
It's pretty amazing, actually. It's almost, you know, the 18 bus.
Yeah.
Very similar to that.
Only we call it the B team.
Yeah, but slightly less good than the 18 sort of second row.
Yeah, we don't have a red stripe.
But if any of your listeners would like to come and follow us on Twitter, they can find us at the band Blake.
The band Blake. Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
That's it, the band Blake.
Yeah, and then we'll tell them what we're up to in the B bus, and they can see what we're up to.
How big is this bus?
It is a 7-seater,
Right.
3-litre engine, turbocharged, and it gets us from A to B very effectively. It's driven by Ray, also known as Ray Von.
Right, and has it got blacked out windows?
It does.
That's actually,
So that you can be reading
Essential
people's
to
faces.
have blacked out windows. I was just going back to Twitter and
Carried
Facebook.
away.
Yeah.
But you know who those people are.
Yes.
You know, that's...
We could
want you
out
to know.
them on radio right now, but we're not going to, because we think it's all in the spirit of Twitter. It's a free environment. You can say whatever you like.
And do you think it's actually beneficial to you being on Twitter, or is it just something that you're using to pass the time and it's a bit of a craze? And
It's fun. I think on a serious note, actually, you've got to embrace everything you can these days to get noticed and get followed. And you know, half the reason why we have a very loyal following, even here in Coventry, is because you know we did a gig here a few years ago with Bob and Daniel O'Donnell, and we had a great reception, and we've followed it up ever since on radio and online.
We like to know what people think. That's the thing. A lot of big bands just tend to just sit in London and do what are called ISDN interviews. I'm sure you're used to getting them here. Yeah, there's a roll of the eyes there.
There's one coming up later.
Okay. Apologies to the person doing that one. But the fact, a lot of people just sit in the capital and expect everybody just to like their music, whereas the reality is we love getting out there and meeting people, and not everybody can do that, you know, in terms of coming to meet us. So whether you follow us on Twitter, or you friend us on Facebook, or you go to MySpace, people can find us anywhere they like.
Would you do a little something for me?
Yeah, I think so.
Sure.
This is, I'll just get a little note here.
Have you learned the words?
That's completely wrong, but that's great.
That's why I'm not in the group.
That's an E flat.
Okay,
Right. Okay, so this is a song written by Charles Aznavour, made very famous by Elvis Costello, and of course the film Notting Hill. This is a little blast from She.
She may be the reason I survive, the why and wherefore I'm alive, the one I care for through the rough and ready years. Me, I take her laughter and her tears and make them all my souvenirs. For where she goes, I've got to be. The meaning of my life is she.
Very nice. I was was noticing there that you weren't all paying attention and looking at each other. Jules, you weren't really looking at them. How do you know when to start and stop?
I've known Ollie since I was 7. So it's just a sixth sense thing.
Yeah. Well, let's say he's in the middle, so if he looked at me, he wouldn't be looking at someone else. So he's like a pilot. He can see both directions at once. But amazing multitasking.
The more time you spend singing together, I mean, as Blake's been around coming up to 3 years now, we spend so much of our time singing together that rather like, kind of people who spend a lot of time generally start saying things at the same time.
Finishing each other's
sentences.
Yeah, but we could do it probably with our eyes shut. You can do your eyes shut, but you sort of breathe together. You feel it coming, and then you see it. There we go.
Thank you very much. Good for you. Good for you. Right, now let's have a look at some of these silly facts then I've got for you, and let's have a check. We'll go down the line. Ollie, held hostage in a bank robbery.
Yeah, I was in Arusha in Tanzania.
So how did it come about? You were just making a deposit?
I know. I was getting.
Or did you hold the gun?
I just happened to be in there. It was by a cash point. I was getting money out because I was climbing Mount Kilimanjaro like the next day, so I had to pay the guides and everything else. And no, that's in Tibet. Oh. And I just got all my money out, and it was sitting on top of the cash point. And then there was a pump action shotgun being fired outside, and people coming to the door, and I sort of hid behind a pillar, and it was quite exciting. But I was more worried about the fact that my cash was just sitting on top of the cash point, and I was trying to reach out and get it, but I didn't want to get seen. I didn't want to get it. And then the police got there, and they had a bit of a gun battle. And the most comedy thing about the whole event was that the getaway vehicle was a 1960s American yellow school bus. So I don't think they were planning on getting away too far. But,
you sure you didn't see this in the film?
I was going to say it's definitely an escape in a yellow school bus in the film Heat, without doubt.
That's very true. Yeah, but no, it was there. It's there. The school bus got all shot up, and it was.
That happens in the new Batman as well. They use a school bus.
Yes, there's a theme there.
The best
There we
fiction
go.
based on
I
fact.
think
Mark's smelling a rat.
I think he's lying.
Okay, well I'm going to put. I don't believe that one. Stephen, you've got a DeLorean.
I do.
No way. I was just watching Back to the Future 3 last weekend. The weekend before that, I watched the original Back to the Future.
It's the best one. Better. Original one is better.
The original one is one of the best films ever. A lot of film directors at film school, when they teach, they cite it as a perfect example of filmmaking. Is that why you got the DeLorean?
I'll be perfectly honest. I saw the film as a kid. I finally got to a point as a semi-adult that I could afford to buy one. I said to the guy, please sell it to me. And as it happened, thankfully for me, his wife wanted a new kitchen at the time. So it was either kind of kitchen, wife nagging him, or get rid of on the DeLorean, so I managed to get my DeLorean.
You had 3 left anyway.
Yeah.
Now, when you park them, because they're gull-wing doors, do you find you can't open the doors if you're parked too close to someone?
You can do great things like knock people out when you open the doors, which is always great fun. Somebody gets a head injury, but it's fine.
Is it a practical one?
Is it a practical head injury?
Yeah.
It's not a practical car.
Practical, not good if you've got, like 6 people like Blake travelling.
No.
around.
Have you ever gone up to 88 miles per hour? I bet you have, haven't you?
I
Wink,
wouldn't know.
wink.
You can't.
Yeah, on a private road. Because of course, if you did, it would in fact go Back to the Future, which is my birthday. That's how I know. When I saw it, I thought, I can't believe it. Marty McFly's going Back to the Future on my birthday. Yeah, can you do an impression of Marty McFly?
No.
I can't.
Do a great one of the Professor.
There we go.
All right, I'll do Marty McFly. You do the Professor. Ready?
Okay.
Oh, Doc, you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
Oh, it's really quite simple, Marty. It's the stainless steel construction makes the flux dispersion even better.
Great Scott! That's good. Right, Jules, my fact about you is you like beetroot. It's not as good, to be honest, is it?
No.
But I like beetroot.
I don't know where you got that from. I mean, if that's on our press release, then we have problems.
Yeah, it is. That was what they said. That was the best fact.
His is about a bank robbery. He's Back to the Future. Mine's a beetroot.
I know.
I don't believe you like beetroot.
Is it true though?
I do actually. In
Yeah.
vinegar. Yeah.
Yeah, and me. I love beetroot.
I love it.
And DeLoreans.
Yes.
And bank robberies.
Thanks.
Barney, you're not hopeless romantic. That's something you say in order to get the ladies.
Oh yeah, that's true.
What kind of
No,
ladies?
well, it's fine.
These are just random thoughts.
There we go.
Oh,
I'm a hopeless romantic.
How does it manifest itself?
Through my music.
That's fair.
Oh.
Well, shall we play a track to take us up to the news?
Yes.
What would you like?
So our tribute to the armed forces. We've got lots of friends in Afghanistan and Iraq, and this is why we chose this song.
Okay, well listen, I'll play it for you. Thank you very much indeed, then, for coming in, Blake. This is Unsung Hero. Yeah, no, I love it.
Steve, I want to do photographs of
Made such a
Kate
difference
and
as we get
Sean.
Yeah,
That's okay.
no worries at all.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, stuff all the time.
So that's
Mark,
Why are all the girls
get
coming?
in
You got
for a
plenty.
photo?
Right, so where are we going to go?